The impact is quite huge, and that's why we say that probably at earlier estimate, excluding all the damages to properties, and so it's gonna impact us about 25 billion Thai baht at
Yeah.
least. What we expect the flooding probably to subside. The impact should subside maybe within a month. I think maybe the peak of flooding should last for about 2 weeks, but we don't know because this is flash flooding is totally unexpected, and I think the experts are also quite confused. But we normally get flooding every year anyway in the south, but this time it's a lot more powerful.
You're watching The Wave. I'm Franc Han Shih. Flashing flooding in southern part of Thailand is expected to cause billions of losses in the economy. How will the flooding crisis affect the economy, and how can Thailand mitigate the impact? Kun Buring Adungwatana, Chief Economist of Kasikorn Research Centre, will give me more insights about economic disruption by flooding in the south, and he joins us now. Kun Buring, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, good friend.
Right. So we understand that actually, according to Kasikorn Research Centre, we see a research report there. So what about in macroeconomic terms, how will the flash flooding hit in Hat Yai, and why does Songkhla province affect Thailand's overall economic outlook?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Songkhla as a province, it accounts for over 1% of GDP. So there are 77 provinces in Thailand, but so Songkhla is one of the major economic center down south, and especially the area that was hit hard is Hat Yai, which is perhaps the hub of economic activity for Songkhla, and that is going to impact tourism and commerce and trading activities. So we just don't know how long this flood is going to last. But right now we know that the impact has been quite severe, and this is going to lead to a loss of income in terms of tourism. I think Hat Yai is probably going to take 60,000 Malaysian tourists a week. So if this were to last 1 month, then that could impact by 240,000 Malaysian tourists, and this is not including the domestic travelers either. So the impact is quite huge, and that's why we say that probably at earlier estimate, excluding all the damages to properties and property damages, so it's gonna impact us about 25 billion Thai baht at least. Yeah,
that excludes all the property damage and other damage, just the economic loss that we just estimate at the beginning of this time. I'm not sure would that flooding issue, as what you said, affecting tourism, part of industrial and of course agricultural sector there. Would Kasikorn Research Centre revise the economic outlook, do you think?
Yeah, we probably have to revise now, but we just want to wait until we get some more clarity over the extent of the flooding. But yeah, this is gonna have a big impact down south. And what we fear is could this news of flooding impact to other part of Thailand that are not really affected, but sentimentally this is not good news for tourism. So people might just say, okay, maybe we should avoid Thailand altogether, especially Phuket. Even though Phuket not really directly affected, but some people might fear maybe it's not the best time to come to Thailand, and they might just cancel their plans altogether, because this is what we observed earlier this year when we had border skirmishes with Cambodia. A lot of events were cancelled in Bangkok, even though we're hundreds of miles away. But it just, the negative headline news is just putting people off. So this is what we fear. But what we expect the flooding probably to subside. The impact should subside maybe within a month. I think maybe the peak of flooding should last for about 2 weeks, but we don't know because this is flash flooding is totally unexpected, and I think the experts are also quite confused. But we normally get flooding every year anyway in the South, but this time it's a lot more powerful, it's a lot more impactful, and the damage to the people's life and the loss of life is much higher than normal.
As what you said, negative headlines always covered in this region, also, of course, in Thailand, and flash flooding this time too. What are the short-term impact on the industrial sector and agricultural sector in the South at this moment? What's your observation?
So other areas apart from Songkhla, we are main agricultural producer of rubber plantations and also palm oil. So this is affected. We estimate that if this were to last about a month, the impact, the loss of output would be around 6 billion Thai baht. About 4 billion on the rubber plantations and 2 billion on the palm oil plantation. But what we fear, if this were to last longer and the depth of the flooding is too large, that could cause a permanent damage to the trees or to the soil, and then that might lead to a loss of the rubber plantations. They might have to redo it again, and they have to wait another several years, 7 or 8 years. So that would be a huge setback. So we hope, we pray it doesn't last that long.
Yeah, so what you said, agricultural sector, very important for Thailand in the South too. This might cause a lot of billions of losses for agricultural sector too. So we might need to see government support here. So of course, we understand that right now government, no matter soldier or people on the ground, authorities trying to help and save people on the ground right now. But what are the government measures that you want to see to help people on the ground?
The first and foremost measure is to get people to safety, and then help those who are stuck in the buildings or in their homes. I think that's the first priority. And then it will come rehabilitation. It will, in terms of, normally government set aside funds for emergency relief through flooding, through fire. So normally they have a fixed amount. But what I like to see is maybe the subsidies or the cash handouts should be proportionate to the damage. I'm sure it's quite difficult to determine, who should get what, but I think it should be, because I think this round the impact has been much more severe than estimated. So I would like to see the cash handouts to be, much more substantial, to at least offset some of the losses that the people in the South suffered. And another thing that I've not mentioned is the loss of electricity, because it's too dangerous for electricity to be running in the grid. So I think they stop electricity in many areas, especially those heavily affected. So this could have long impacts on various sectors and also on production, even in some areas that are not really badly affected. The factory activity has been has stopped as well, because they don't want people coming in and out, even though the factory itself or themselves are not damaged or not really much impacted, but economic activity, flow of inputs in and out, the flow of people in and out of factory have been stopped. So a lot of economic activity have been suspended. So that's why we think that the economic damage could be much bigger than we initially forecast.
Right. So as what you said, cash handout, of course, electricity supply, they're very dangerous for people on the ground there. So they have to cut it off. And of course, industrial sector, they're very important for Songkhla province too. So how to revive that will be the key for government. And as I think it's private sector, particularly by the banking sector from, of course, from your center too. Just want to understand, we already got some relief in terms of private sector in banking sector for tech debt-free for maybe 1 or 2, 3 months. What are the effective policies from the private sector side in banking sector?
Yeah, obviously the debt relief for those heavily affected, they cannot go to work. They have severe loss of income, disappearance of income for a long period of time. So some sort of relief measures from the banking sector is welcome. So these measures will tie the people over until business activity resume. So this is obviously much needed. The next step would be perhaps soft loan from both the government banks and also commercial banks, so people can repair the damages done to their property, and or if the cars are severely flooded, they cannot use it for their business activity. So this can be some sort of loans together with government soft loan, help to get people back on their feet. So I think this is quite crucial. So that's just the normal measure that we see, and maybe if those cannot recover fast enough, maybe there would be some debt restructuring. They can lower the payment, lower the interest. So I think these are the normal measures that the commercial banks help out those in need, and this is done because I think the banking sector, obviously we care about our customers, because if our customer do not survive, it's going to be a big problem for us too. So I think it's a good measure that we have to try to come up with ways to help them to get back on their feet.
Right. Critical moment, not just for people on the ground who got affected, and also government and private sector side to help people there. Today, thank you for your time. Kun Buring Aduwantana, Chief Economist of Kasikorn Research Centre. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
More news to come.